Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's August 1st, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com. Joined once again this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And the news of the day is the Miami Hurricanes are preparing this morning for day 2 of Canes camp. And we had the opportunity to attend day 1 yesterday, Matt, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it was nice to see the guys out there, get a little bit of a glimpse of the new players, eyeball them physically, things that stand out just on the surface. Tyler Barron, just incredible looking defensive end prospects. Simeon Barrow, defensive tackle. Sam Brown, wide receiver. It's just nice to see the Miami Hurricanes with what you believe and feel is talent again. And where that will lead them, we don't know. But it was kind of funny after practice. Mario came and talked to us and was pretty upbeat. Thought it was a heck of a first day. Couldn't be more, flowing in his praise. And then we talked to Cam Ward, who was a little bit upset because he thought that the offense had actually lost day 1 to the defense. And let me give you guys a little quick glimpse of what he had to say.
We didn't have a great first day. We had a good enough first day. We had a lot of guys out there, not full speed, I believe. But, that's something that we can get better at as we get used to the heat. The new guys coming in, still acclimating to the heat. But, it was a decent first day, not where we want to be as an offense. But we weren't explosive as an offense today as we need to be. And, we just didn't play our brand of football the whole time. We had spurts of it here and there, but we got to be consistent. That's the biggest thing for us. So, stay up 1-0.
So, your first thought, practically not full speed. I mean, day 1, no, the guys aren't running full speed, which was totally contrary to what Mario Cristobal had to say. But, everyone was like, ooh, Mario's going to be upset at this. But I think Mario's going to love it. Like, Mario loves player-driven football teams, and he wants his leaders taking charge of this team. And that's what Cam Ward's doing. He's holding every guy in offense to account. He is asking them to perform every day at their highest level. And if he thinks that they're not running full speed, he may not call them out by name, but Matt, he's going to say it. I like it.
How dare he speak the truth? Who does he think he is? Look, I'll share just a couple of anecdotes. First of all, since we're on this subject anyway, before the practice even began, I was talking with some of the media people who had actually had a chance to, talk with Cam Ward one-on-one previously also. And they said, he said some things they couldn't even use, because it was just so inflammatory. And they said, they think that Cam Ward and Mario Cristobal, if the offense isn't high flying, are going to butt heads. They just are, because Cam Ward doesn't hold back sometimes. He's not going to listen. He's an old hat, right? He's not going to listen to the Miami sports information person who can't be named, who tells us, don't. I literally texted this guy. Somebody on the message board yesterday said, hey, can we just get the uniform numbers of the new guys? So I text he who can't be named. It's not Manny Diaz anymore. It's the sports information guy. I'm like, I got a fan who just wants some numbers. He literally just wants to know what number the freshmen are and the transfers. And I get the response, no. He said, if they post it on social media, then I guess that's fine. But no, other than that. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. The way that Mario has this thing buttoned up is it's like, somebody who's vegan and won't eat tofu. It just doesn't make sense. If you're vegan, you can eat tofu. I understand not wanting to give away secrets, but I'm pretty sure Florida before the first game is going to know what uniform number Damian Martinez is. I'm sorry, I can't say it on this show. I'm not allowed. But at some point, people will know what uniform number Damian Martinez is, right? I'm just guessing here. I don't understand the big secrecy on that. It's so dumb. But anyway, so there's that. And then, so then during practice, we're watching portions of practice. We're not allowed to really talk about injuries. We can't talk about depth charts. We can't talk about a lot of things. But listen, I literally said was it to you or, I think I told you and I was talking to somebody else about it. But like, I'm watching Sam Brown, right? Because it's the first time we lay eyes on him. And I'm like, he's going half speed. Remember I said that to you, Gary? I said he's going half speed.
We did.
This is what we're watching. And now after practice, Cam Ward is saying that guys aren't giving effort. And then somebody asked about Sam Brown. And of course, Cam Ward's not going to throw Sam Brown under the bus. Oh, Sam looked great, da-da-da. But like, yeah, there were reps where guys weren't going real fast. And when I say that about Sam, I don't want to single him out. There's other guys that weren't going full speed also. Like, but it didn't. But this was not offense versus defense. This was just the coming out drills where they're literally just running routes, right? And maybe
now, in fairness, let's point out, and I'm not brandishing the glasses here, but it was his first practice.
Right. Correct. So he wants to make sure he's doing everything perfectly. I get it.
Probably learning on the fly here a little
Correct.
bit.
But it's just funny that I said that to you, and then after practice, Cam Ward's like, guys weren't giving effort. Now, to me, I thought overall the effort was fine. Were there reps here and there where it looked like guys were going a little bit slower than they can? Yes, but it's the first day. I didn't really think much more of it. I wasn't even going to mention Sam Brown going half speed in one rep, except for the fact that Cam Ward blew this whole thing up and made it a big deal that guys aren't giving effort on the first day, which is not what you want. But then on the other side of things, I did talk to somebody who's been around the program for a long time before the first practice. And he said that this is building a culture that he thinks he hasn't seen here in terms of just sort of like the team aspect of it and the way it looks to him, that it hasn't been this way in a long, long time. Getting rid of the selfish guys and just the me guys. He thinks it's different now. So that's really important. And I do think it's good that Cam Ward called it up, because if something's not right, it's this, like Mario said, this seems to be a player-led team as much as a coach-led team, and the coaches can chase guys down the field. I don't know what the hell Mario's talking about. Coaches are chasing guys down the field, sweating, like running after the coaches.
He wants his coaches to be sweaty at the end of the
He wants them to all pass out.
He likes coaches that can get in the fray with his guys, and be hands-on and be active type of coaches.
Right. So Cam Ward took the whole, we want a player-led team and a team that basically is going to take charge of itself to another level, because I think what Mark Criswell wants is for them to do that behind the scenes, not through the media. If Cam Ward comes out next practice and talks to us, he's like, starts naming guys who aren't doing well, is that going to sit well with Mario? Probably not. But if you're going to motivate guys through the media, that's how they used to do it in the old days, right? Coaches would name names and say, this guy's not giving enough effort. That guy's not giving enough effort. This guy's giving off the charts effort. Like, that's how they'd motivate people through the media. And I don't know if Cam Ward somehow is trying to motivate people through the media or is just telling the truth. My feeling is just telling the truth. This is a guy who's coming from a program that didn't get a lot of real media coverage. I don't think there's a ton of interest nationally for a program that was 7-6 and 5-7 the last 2 years at Washington State. And yeah, of course, Cam Ward's a top quarterback, but he's only there for 2 years and they weren't very good nationally. So I don't think maybe he understands that every little thing he says is going to get blown up, whether it's I can't live on $1.5 million for the rest of my life, or guys aren't giving effort. Like, I don't know what he's going to say the rest of the year, but I can't wait to see it, because it's like the opposite of what we've seen from players at Miami for so many years, and I love it. And I was telling you yesterday, I was going through some of the tapes. We're going to have a story coming up on Jordan Lyle. Jordan Lyle, who just got here a minute ago, told me one-on-one at the media day thing or whatever, that like this running backs room is better than the old days. And I said to him, I said, you do know the old days, there was guys named Clinton Portis, Edgerrin James, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore. I know. He says, I know. We're going to be better. He says, we're better than the old days. So I sort of like that. I don't know. I mean, I find it interesting. I don't want the boring old, we're taking it day by day. Oh, everyone's giving great effort. Oh, everyone's flying to the ball. I like the no one's giving effort. Not no one. I like there's guys not giving effort. I like the, predictions. Like Ruben Bain, we had a story yesterday. The guy says he wants to win the Heisman. He wants to be a consensus All-American. Mario doesn't like that stuff, because Mario wants us to be team, not me, and that's me awards. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that, Mario. Like, that's okay. Guys should want individual awards because you know what? If he wins the Heisman, guess what? It's helping the team. Okay? Let the guys be selfish in that regard. Every rep that they wind up getting, let them do it to the point where they want individual accolades. But at the same time, what I think Miami, what they're trying to say is cheer for your teammates. You know, Ruben Bain, when he's out for a few reps and a guy gets 3 sacks in a row, he shouldn't be like, that should have been me getting 3 sacks in a row. You know, he should be happy for that guy. And I think he would be. So I think it's okay. I think all this stuff's okay. I think fans should embrace it. I wish Mario would embrace it. I wish Mario would let us say what number Damian Martinez is, 6. But we can't, unfortunately. You know, it's a shame.
All right. So anyway, practice is underway. I think everyone just felt refreshed that they're now practicing for real and that there's a game in 30 days and a lot of excitement out at the U. And in addition to talking to Cam Ward, we did have a very detailed conversation. It was nice, actually. I think it went about 12, 13 minutes long with Mario Cristobal. That story is on the website for those of you that have not yet seen it. A lot of insight into different areas of the team. We did also speak to Ruben Bain, as Matt just said, Francisco Manoa, and Jalen Rivers. So we had a lot of availability on day one and are able to bring you an enormous amount of coverage. We also posted a ton of video from the segments of practice that we were able to video. We expect that to be cut back a little bit as these weeks go by, but at least for now, you're able to just get a feel for some of the drills and things that they are doing out there on Green Tree practice field. So practice 2 today, and we will be out there again. And around midday, you'll see a whole new stream of coverage coming up on the website. One extra little story we've got for you today is on defensive tackle Simeon Barrow, and you're going to see us covering this guy as much as we can. Because he's just such a character, and showed you a little clip yesterday on the show of him clowning around with us during media day. But this guy, I'm telling you, man, he has the look of a man that can do some damage on the football field. He is not shy about his goals, and he flat tells us that they can be the best defensive line in college football. The story's on the website this morning. Matt, we both had a chance actually at separate moments to speak to Simeon Barrow. I've talked a little bit about my impressions. What were your thoughts after spending a few moments with Simeon Barrow?
I mean, he passes the look test. I did say to him, he was sitting next to Tyler Barron at media day. I said to him, what do you need other defensive linemen to play with you? You could just go through all 5 guys yourself, and Tyler Barron thought that was funny. And then I talked to Tyler Barron, and he has the personality of Gary Ferman. I mean, it's like talking to a pencil. And that's okay, Tyler. Nothing personal. But Tyler Barron's not going to be one of the
together. You need to whip his ass.
Whose ass?
Shodell. Yes. Terrible. Yeah. Hey, bring your A game, baby.
Well, Tyler Barron's going to whip my ass. But listen, not every player on the team needs to have a bubbly personality and share the things that Cam Ward and these other guys do. Simeon Barrow was a really good interview. He's one of the guys that's just going to speak his mind, And he said defense line's going to be great, blah, 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 blah. And he looks like a real defensive lineman should look like. Him and Barron both. Totally opposite personalities. But those 2 guys, man, they are growing up. They are big boys, and they will take out and wreck an offensive lineman. So, yeah, I'm excited. It's funny. Jalen Rivers said this is the best defensive line that he's seen at Miami. He's been here. This is his 4th year. And I don't think he's making that up. Jalen Rivers is a guy who I know. I've talked to him since he was a recruit. He doesn't do the hyperbole thing. He doesn't do the exaggeration thing. When he said that yesterday after practice, he meant it. And I think he's right. Miami purchased a really good offensive line and a defensive line, rather. Offensive line too, I guess. They have to purchase everything. But the great teams are built from the trenches out, and Miami's doing that. So this is the blueprint, that Mario Cristobal will never share. It started with the offensive line. He put all the money in the offensive line, got a really good offensive line. Now he put the money in the defensive line, really good defensive line, and he's recruiting behind it. And this is really what I wanted to see happen. I don't know if it's all going to come together this year because really you got a great offense. You got two pretty good lines, but the linebacker level has some depth issues. Secondary has some question marks. And if there's injuries to even 2 or 3 starters, there's still a lot of depth questions because those young guys aren't really necessarily ready yet. So if the team stays healthy all year, they're a playoff team, in my opinion. But that just never happens, right? That just never happens. So the key to the whole season to me is going to be who gets hurt because there are certain spots that do have enough depth to cover up, and there are certain spots that just simply do not. So that's really going to be the whole key to the whole season. I mean, everything to me right now is just going to be fluff until game 1. We're going to be talking about nonsense on here and saying we see this, we see that. And the other thing, to me, at the end of the day, I can see the talent level. I can see this is a much bigger, more physical, more athletically talented team, really, that I've seen in maybe even dating back to 2000, the early 2000s, 2005, 2006, and things started going downhill from there. Or is it uphill? I don't know if downhill or uphill is better. Whatever the worst one is, downhill or uphill. Downhill, you're going to crash into something. Uphill is tough to go. So maybe downhill and uphill. Ever since the program went downhill and uphill, this is the probably the best I've seen in terms of just the look test for the program. Because we've been out there in spring and fall, Gary, and we've said, man, this team looks small. It just looks small compared to how they used to.
Yeah, there was no enthusiasm.
Well, that's not what I don't mean mentally small.
But we've seen a lot through the years. And
yeah.
We've walked out of there feeling pretty dismal about what we want.
And I'm as negative a person as you'll ever want to find. I mean, I love to harp on bad things. I love that. That's what I live for.
You do.
I don't like happy people annoy me. That's just the truth. I don't want anyone to be happy because the sadder people are, the better I feel, right? Hey, that guy's more sad than I am. That's great. Now I feel better, right? But it just seems like I'm always at the bottom of the barrel with the sad factor. The bad news for me is this program actually looks like it's going in the right direction. I mean, things look
I
like
keep
they're
telling
going
you that.
Right. You keep telling me that. I mean, you have to see it at some point.
Negative Nancy. I keep telling you
You've
this is going in the right direction.
You've said it for 20 years. At some point, you're going to be right. I actually speak the truth, and I've said it hasn't been right. Hasn't been right. Now finally this fall, I feel like with some of the additions in the second transfer portal window, guys like they needed Barrow, they needed Barron. They needed Martinez. They needed Sam Brown. Like those guys filled in the gaps. Without those 4 guys, those are 4 starters, right? That's 20% of your starting lineup, right? They added 20% of their starting lineup after the spring. And seeing them yesterday, Gary can predict how great things were going to be in the spring and knew they were going to bring in 4 guys who were this level. I don't think that's true, but he seems to think he could foresee the future. I can't see the future, but I could see what I saw yesterday, and I really like what I saw.
Yeah, I just want to remind you, I'm the guy that coined the phrase athletic director malpractice for what Blake James did to this program when he hired Manny Diaz. So I called that one from day one. And no, I haven't been positive at all for many, many years. I'm positive now. I am. I do think that Florida is going to be better than everyone's thinking. I think everyone's trying to pencil a W, an easy W in for opening week. And I just don't believe that that's going to be the case up there in Gainesville. I think it's going to be a tough game. But I do love what I'm seeing in terms of the development of the Miami Hurricanes. And right now, all they can do is work on the Miami Hurricanes.
So let me get this straight, though. You think Florida is going to win 5 or 6 games this year against a tough schedule, right?
If they can get that
bottom half SEC team. So you're saying Miami, as good as you think it is pretty similar to a bottom half SEC team.
It's week 1. It's week 1 is very tricky.
So whoever they're playing in week 1, you think it's going to be a tough game. It doesn't matter.
It's a quality opponent.
All right.
I mean, this is a Florida team that's going to have some players. I mean, they're a respectable SEC team. They just have a juggernaut schedule and a coach who's not very good. I mean, to be quite honest, and they never should have hired him in the first place. And I called that too, Matt, by the way.
Yeah, what am I doing right now? Can you see what I'm doing? Oh, you can't see it. What is this?
No, I really did. I thought that hire was ridiculous. A program like Florida should be able to get an elite coach, not, be gambling on a guy from Louisiana. So anyway, I do expect the game to be a hotly contested matchup on opening day, but do love what I'm seeing on Green Tree practice field. Hey, let me take this moment right now to say that if you're on YouTube right now and you like the show, like our channel, please hit your subscribe and like buttons. It does help us grow and grow our audience and helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. And if you're not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please come on over to our website, join our community of fans. Your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every single day on this show, on the website. We are grinding it out 24/7, 365 to do everything we can do to allow you to enjoy being a fan to the max. And I hope we're successful at that. All right. Also on the website today, we got a few stories on a couple visitors that were out at practice yesterday. So make sure you check that out. A couple other recruiting stories, one of which is on Justice Fitzpatrick. You'll recognize that last name. He is the younger brother of Minkah Fitzpatrick, former Dolphin draft pick who now plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Contact is picking up between him and the Hurricanes, and there is serious reciprocal interest. We've got that story for you on the website today. The Hurricanes continue to impress. Top 150 wide receiver Travis Johnson. He was down here last weekend, loves every minute of it. We've got an update on him as well. And we also have an update on, this is actually a pretty cool story. Up in Oradell, New Jersey, Bergen Catholic, there is a defensive tackle by the name of Jermaine Kinsler. He is the younger brother of Miami offensive lineman Tommy Kinsler, and the Canes are recruiting him. You have to think they have a pretty good shot there, and we've got an update on just where he stands in his recruitment. So that's going to do it for today for Good Morning CaneSport. Thank you guys so much for starting out your day with us once again. Remember, practice again this morning, number 2 on Green Tree Practice Field. We'll be out there. We will bring you tons of coverage here as the morning goes on. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Thanks again. We'll see you next time, everybody.